Because we are talking here. Stop. Go back. Wrong room. And this is the microphone that doesn't make a noise. It's funny. It's, it's like a toy. Yeah, it's like a toy. So should we start? You ready? Sorry for this microphone. It doesn't work, but I need to keep it up like this all the time. First question, how many of you actually need translation to Russian or Ukrainian? So there are some people, yeah? There are some people. Okay. Okay. And I understand that, are you, those that raised your hands, are you in business? Do you work in business? Yes? And you want to do business with Europe? You don't. You want. Okay? And you don't speak English? Okay. You need to. Okay? That's the first lesson. Okay? That takes longer time than you studying English, I think. Okay, so my name is Ragnar, and couple of words about me. I don't know if you probably read about something, where I come from and what I do. Originally, I'm from Estonia. This is this small village up in the north. size. My country is the size of one building of on the way from Borispol to the center. This yeah, 1 million people, 1.2 million people. And usually, you know, we are very simple people in Estonia. Our names mean simple things. How mostly it means animals. Yeah. So a seal, this is an animal. This is a Jožek. Ragnar Jož, yes, Ragnar Jožek. Yeah. I speak some Russian, so I do understand if you speak slowly, but my own speaking ability is very low. Yeah. So a couple of words from my background. I'm by education I'm a political scientist. About international relations. And then right after graduation I started to work for the Ministry of Culture in Estonia. And I had main two roles when I worked in the ministry. The first was to build up a strategic capacity of Estonian culture and creative sectors. And the other one was developing creative industries. So my role was to work out or put in place policies for Estonia to have very strong creative industries ecosystem. We created incubators, creative incubators, accelerators. We turned old factories into creative hubs and clusters. We developed in each cultural sector a new business development and export development center. The sector, but center. Yes. Yeah. And we raised awareness, organized trainings, helped Estonian creative entrepreneurs to export. I worked as a deputy minister or undersecretary of state for the arts. That was my role. Some minister, I think, in this country, but and I was almost 10 years, around 9 years in the ministry. And also because of the success story of Estonia in Europe, I was elected by the European Union countries to become a president of the European Union Expert Group on Creative Industries Development in Brussels. And I worked there for around five years also. So this is my connection to mostly to creative industries. After I quit the ministry, I created my own consultancy company, Creativity Lab. We work with individual level, so we work with businesses to develop the business plans, business models, and also help them to export better in foreign markets.
Мы работаем как на индивидуальном уровне, то есть работаем непосредственно с объектами бизнеса и создаем бизнес-планы, помогаем им разработать жизнь.
But we also work on the government level. So we help governments around the world to develop their creative economy development strategies.
Точно так же мы работаем на государственном уровне, помогаем правительствам стран создавать их стратегические планы развития культурных индустрий.
For the last 1.5 years, I worked with the governments of Ukraine and Georgia to develop the new cultural policies.
Ну и в этой связи последние 1,5 года я сотрудничал с Украиной и с Грузией в развитии их политик культурных экономик.
In the beginning, Ukraine was very fast. Minister Nishuk was there, and we very quickly developed the first roadmap for the strategy.
Поначалу Украина в этой сфере была достаточно быстрой, и с министром Нищуком мы очень быстро разработали первую дорожную карту.
Then you had a change of government. Nishuk уехал, Кириленко приехал, все план уехал тоже. Да, я надеюсь, это хорошие новости. So hopefully we will get back on track.
Поэтому будем надеяться, что мы вернемся на старые рельсы.
In Georgia, they were much more successful, and the new strategy is going to be applied or is going to be approved hopefully this week.
Но в Грузии у нас были немного больше успехи, и буквально на этой неделе должны уже утвердить новую стратегию.
And now for the past half a year, I actually work here in Kiev.
Последние полгода я работаю здесь,
I live here in Kiev, half my time.
половину своего времени проживаю в Киеве.
And I work for the European Union program of culture and creativity.
Я работаю в европейской программе сотрудничества культуры и творчества.
Yes. And our role is to help Ukraine, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Moldova, Georgia, and Belarus to develop their cultural and creative sectors and industries.
Наша роль заключается в том, чтобы развивать культурные и креативные индустрии в таких странах, как Армения, Азербайджан, Молдова, Украина и Грузия.
So that's me.
Я такой.
Now I want to know about some of you as well. What are you doing? Some of you. What are you doing and why are you here?
Я бы хотел поинтересоваться у вас, чем вы занимаетесь. Какой ваш
Some of you.
интерес?
Yes. Consulting company. And what do you do? And what kind of in what sectors? Why are you here today? Okay, have you ever worked or consulted creative companies? Have you worked with those areas? contacts or contracts? Contracts. No, I don't. I'm not looking for contracts because no, it's good because yes, yes, yeah. So my answer is yes, in a sense that firstly I do have a lot of contacts I can share. I have a lot of experience in doing this. Also, I can help with my advice those places. I worked with many. I've been to Lviv. We were in Odessa, conducting many seminars. Lately, Rivne. So we worked in this. Why I said no to your contract sentence was since I work for the European Union program, then I am not. Everything that I do in this country is for free. So I will not be able to. That's why I'm not for contracts. Yeah? Oh yeah, well, but that comes after this program is over. Yeah, I am advising. I am advising. Yeah, yeah, for free of charge. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But I do have lots of contacts that I have worked with this business in Europe for so many years that and belong to all these expert groups for Brussels, for example, that if ever you need an expert for any of these topics, you know, you have a list of 10 or 20 or 30 of them. So that's not an issue at all. That's not a problem. Anyway, who else is here? Is somebody from companies here? Like anyone? What are you doing? Project manager, okay. So what do you do? Okay, so you don't work for a company at the moment. You're self-employed. Paxton. Okay, very good. Who else wants to say? Just to understand a bit who is in the room. Yes?
I'm from IT company.
IT company, okay?
Reason here, after the revolution and the war in Ukraine, I think the creative class has been unlocked in Ukraine, so-called creative class. As well, this creative class, together with other people, are looking for, thinking that some cultural things can really make a lot of changes in Ukraine to the creativity. Like very some period, big change in the 5 centuries ago.
Mhm.
So I don't know what is your speech about. I mean, details. But I have some questions and I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Anyone else? We take one more. What about you? Okay. Okay. And what do you expect today? Okay. What about you? Yes. Retail. And what do you expect from this? New ideas. Okay.
I would like to mention
Please.
something about all the mentioned in our profile, deal of advisory services, and we would like to know new information about possibility to take some grants or credits from European Commission to Ukrainian companies if needed, right?
Okay. So you don't make my life very easy. Okay.
Be yourself. Тяжело будет сегодня общаться.
The reason I asked is that this topic can be told in many. This story can be told in many different ways. Okay.
Ну, спросила, чем вы занимаетесь, потому что мы будем историю разбирать, можно рассказать по-разному.
It can be told to those that know nothing about the role of culture and creativity or the potential about culture creativity in business or society or sustainable development. Okay?
Можно историю рассказывать и тем, кто не имеет никакого понятия о роли креативности, культуры в бизнесе, развитии, постоянном развитии.
It can be told to those that are working in business and want to enlarge their perspective on how could they better work together with culture creative professionals and what would be the ROI, yeah? What would be the added value in working with creative specialists. Okay?
Ну, также эту же историю можно рассказать специалистам, которые работают в бизнесе, которые с помощью креативности и культуры хотят увеличить свой потенциал, улучшить отношения и радость, удовольствие клиента, проектированность клиента от проводимого бизнеса.
It can be the story can be told to creatives, to creative entrepreneurs who have fantastic ideas but lack of business skills. Okay?
Точно так же ту же историю можно рассказать специалистам в сфере креативной деятельности, которые имеют огромный креативный потенциал, но имеют недостаток бизнес-навыков.
And lastly, what is usually my role is that this story can be told to policymakers on a local, regional, and national level to better understand what kind of ecosystem they have to develop for creativity to flourish.
Ну, в последнюю очередь, эту историю, это, как правило, то, чем я занимаюсь, это рассказать эту историю представителям местных, региональных и государственных властей для того, чтобы они понимали, какую экосистему креативной индустрии они должны построить для того, чтобы она развивалась.
Yes.
Rather, if it's very, I would like to suggest what is my need. Exactly what you mentioned now. The third point. In fact, our city, Hitler, is 1 million city which is going down like we got several people ago. So, in the range of the current businesses, it's not possible to stop this decline, and the city is dying. So, what your recommendation would be for the city is exactly what we need, and we not want the city to look at the culture as culture, but at culture as business together with some sort of reviving the city.
Absolutely.
Maybe this is
I will talk about that.
Я вкратце перевожу, что Днепр огромный город, и сейчас Детройт несколько десятилетий назад начинает свой плавный спуск вниз, и мы как раз рассматриваем то, что, о чем вы правильно сказали, ваши советы на государственном уровне, как улучшить эту экосистему, рассматривать культуру в разрезе сотрудничества с бизнесом, а не как культуру отдельно. И да, именно в этом мы с вами
when I was working in Brussels for the expert group, we actually published, so 28 member states published a policy handbook. What are the key steps for cities, or regions, or governments to follow to develop this kind of a system that you're talking about? Okay?
Я работал в Брюсселе в экспертной группе по вопросам культуры и креативной индустрии. Мы как раз разработали справочник, который содержит в себе ключевые шаги для того, чтобы обустроить именно ту систему, о которой вы говорите.
I'm going to show this model. This is freely downloadable, equipped with a lot of different examples that actually work from Europe.
И я покажу эту модель, она абсолютно бесплатно скачивается с интернета и продемонстрирую многие моменты и приемы, которые действительно работают.
The good news is also that the program that I'm working for is going to launch very soon a creative industry study in Ukraine and other Eastern Partnership countries, but in Ukraine.
И еще одна хорошая новость, это то, что экспертная группа, с которой я работал, в скором будущем запустит исследования по креативной индустрии в Украине.
And that's going to be the helicopter view of a country, of the sectors that have more potential and less potential.
Ну, с помощью этого исследования мы сможем посредством птичьего полета рассмотреть, какие сферы чего стоят.
And we're also going to make a mapping of a small or medium-sized city in Ukraine. So not Dnipro, because that's too big, but smaller place as a pilot project to understand how culture and creativity can change also smaller cities, not only, you know, 1 million, 2 or 3 million cities. Yeah? So we will do a lot of these things also here in Ukraine.
Но также мы проведем своего рода картографирование, возьмем средний по размеру город, не такой огромный, как Днепропетровск, а поменьше, и именно в нем на практике мы рассмотрим, как можно внедрить креативную индустрию.
So let me very quickly make introduction. Does everybody in this room know what креативная индустрия или творческая индустрия, what are they? Do you all know?
Все мы знаем, что это креативная индустрия.
You know a bit, so you don't know. Okay, so we should start with this. So what are we talking about? Okay. Well, usually you start with definition, yes? Usually. Okay. So
Начнем с определения.
let's start with definition. Definition says that these are those industries that have the origin in individual creativity, skill, or talent, okay, which have a potential for job and wealth creation. So it's not only about being nice exhibition or entertainment or our heritage, identity, what usually culture, but it looks at culture from completely new perspective. Yeah? Potential for job and wealth creation.
Ну так, что такое креативная индустрия? Это такие индустрии, которые через индивидуальный творческий талант и навыки раскрывают потенциал для открытия новых рабочих мест и увеличения богатства при этом творчестве через генерирование интеллектуальной собственности.
Yeah. So he translated already the part I didn't speak about. Okay, very good. And you can intellectual property, because you can, the capital in these sectors is the intellectual property. Okay.
Потому что мы сказали про интеллектуальную собственность. Капиталом в этой сфере является именно интеллектуальная собственность.
This, and I'm going to tell you about this, but this, the fact that the blood in the system, the air that we breathe, is intellectual property, is the best thing about this sector, and also its weakness. Okay.
Тот факт, что, так сказать, воздухом, которым мы дышим в этих секторах индустрии, является именно интеллектуальная собственность, это одновременно делает Это одновременно и сам очень хороший факт, и также очень ослабевает.
Now, after this definition, are you smarter? Do you know about creative industries?
Ну как, теперь вы поумнели, понимание определения, что такое креативные индустрии.
Exactly. I think that doesn't. Let me very, and this is extremely simplified what I'm saying now, but this is the way I personally understand creative industries. Okay?
Ну и теперь, собственно, я продемонстрирую то, как я понимаю творческую индустрию.
Very personally.
Очень
Okay.
индивидуальный.
Что это? Ложка. Very, very simple ложка. Yes? The most simple ложка you can think of. Okay? Сколько стоит? 10 гривен. Okay? Around, let's say around 10 гривна. Okay? Is it functional? Does it work? Can you pour sugar with this into your coffee? Of course. Can you take the liquid medicine? Yes, it works. 10 гривен работает. Это ложка. Is it very creative? Is this very creative what you say? You do? Absolutely. I mean, it's a ложка. It's okay. It's ложка. Fine. Oh, yeah, but that was already a lot of time ago. Okay. So let me show you the definition of creative industries that I see. Okay.
Сейчас я вам продемонстрирую мое понимание креативной индустрии.
What is this? Is this ложка? It is. Do you agree? It is. It is a spoon. This is by a very famous designer from Denmark called Georg Jensen. Maybe you've seen in the airports. Georg Jensen.
Автор этой ложки
Yeah.
Георг Янсен, очень известный датский истец.
Though it is beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Прекрасно, по-моему.
Guess how much does it cost? Actually, I've seen this in the Copenhagen airport. How much does this ложка cost?
Угадайте, сколько эта ложка стоит, и я не видел, собственно, точно в отеле в аэропорту.
200 euros. Okay, and that's a cheap one. I mean, that's even cheap. 200 euros. Yes, yes, one spoon. Now, as you can see, these are holes in it, yes? So it's not a picture, it is a hole in it. Can you pour sugar with this into your coffee? Can you take a liquid medicine? Okay, so it doesn't work. So you take something that works and cost 10 grivna, yeah? You make it into something that doesn't work and you take 200 euros. Now, well, that's my definition of creative industries. You need to be bloody creative to start selling this to people, okay?
Ну, как вы видите, она очень красивая, и это не рисунок, это действительно отверстие, то есть сахара ей в чай не положишь, никакого сиропа не выпьешь. Вот. В общем, мое личное понимание креативной творческой индустрии, это мы берем что-то, что работает, делаем так, чтобы оно не работало, получаем за это 200 евро. Как-то так.
Now, of course, you understand in this room that when a person buys this one, he's not buying a loshka. You know that. So, what is this person buying? Let me ask you. What are you buying if you buy this?
Что вы покупаете?
Idea. Very good. What else? What? Mood. Very good. Style. Name. Belonging. Emotion. Yeah. You want to feel that you can own it, yeah? Yeah, very good. You buy, yeah, exactly, yeah. So you buy bunch of other things except loshka, yeah?
Вы покупаете все, кроме ложки.
Let me show you another type of loshka, okay? Because it's not always these kind of loshkas we buy.
Но на самом деле мы не всегда покупаем такие ложки, есть еще другой набор.
In Ukraine you have your wooden loshkas like that, yes? This one is from остров Саарема, Балтийское море. Это самый большой остров, эстонский остров. It is made out of juniper tree. It is made out of juniper tree. Make gin out of that. Yeah. So it smells. Yeah. Every Estonian has this in the home. This one or a butter knife, and it smells. Okay. Yeah. So when you go to Dnipro, or you go to Rivne, or you go to Lviv, or you go to island of Saaremaa, and you buy this, what do you buy? It is around 20 euros. Why do you buy a souvenir? Emotion, memory, absolutely. Every time you open your drawer and you smell this, it takes you back to your island, your vacation, your babushka, деревня, dacha, whatever you need. It takes you back. So this is a new reality. If you look at the European Commission published reports and the UN reports on creative industries, you see that it is the fastest growing sector of economy globally. Over the last 15 years. And if you ask 95% of your policymakers about creative industries, they've never heard of this. You know famous economist Thomas Sedlacek from Switzerland, from Czech Republic. From Czech Republic. Czechia. Yeah? He has said that the stages that the economy has gone through, and I mean for those economists in the room, this is simplified, but just to make the point. Yeah. So when we go back in history, who was rich? Who was rich? Rich countries were those who sat on top of resources. Okay? So if there was gold or something mining, you know, or wood, then you were rich. Okay? If you didn't have it, you were not rich. Then, of course, in industrial revolution, suddenly it was not important who had the resources, but rather where the wealth was produced. Yeah? This was where UK became rich. Now you know that those cities in UK that made Great Britain rich went down very quickly because the manufacturing was lost, like Liverpool or Manchester. Yeah? Because suddenly it was not anymore important where did you produce. You can produce in China, but who was servicing that system? Yeah? Where the money, where is the... This is why City of London made UK rich. Okay?
как Лондон.
Then everybody start to talk about the brain power, yeah, the innovation power.
Но тогда начали говорить про силу мысли.
He calls it thinks. Yeah, suddenly your solutions became those that had value. Yeah,
Потом он Соглашек называет следующим этапом это ваши мысли, именно ваше решение имеет весомое.
then it was the great era of communications, Microsoft. Yeah, it's not over completely, of course, but this was the time with big informational systems. Yeah?
Следующий этап это эра Microsoft и больших компаний коммуникационных, которые эра цифровых коммуникаций, она, конечно, еще не закончилась, но
You know this very well, probably, that we have, everybody talks about this at this phase at the moment, what's called links. Okay?
ну и следующая фаза это та, которая сейчас наиболее часто разговаривают, фаза называется связи.
You probably all seen this famous picture going around in Facebook,
Все, наверное, видели эту известную картинку в Фейсбуке,
which says that the biggest taxi company in the world has no taxis. Yeah? The biggest hotel in the world has no hotel rooms. The biggest cinema has no cinemas. That is this. Yeah? It's Facebook. Facebook is one of the largest it's one of the largest the largest entertainment companies in the world, and they do not create any content. Okay?
И это эпоха,
Yeah.
эпоха связи, которая, мы видели эту картинку в Фейсбуке, которая говорит о том, что наибольшие компании такси в мире нет ни одной машины такси, как Uber, наиболее развлекательной компании Facebook нет ни одного человека, который разрабатывает контент. То есть именно вот эти связи создают ценность.
By the way, the two areas, they have practically revolutionized the way we understand culture.
Именно два последних этапа стали революционными в нашем восприятии культуры.
This is the difference between what the Professor Bielucci Sacco calls culture 2.0 and 3.0.
Это именно та разница в том, как профессор Белюч
Sacco.
Сако
Sacco.
говорит восприятие культуры 2.0 и культуры 3.0.
In culture 2.0, everyone, this was a time of mass cultural consumption. Okay? Everyone had massive access to cultural production. Yeah?
В культуре 2.0 у каждого был такой массовый оптовый доступ к культуре.
There was
Потреблению культуры.
culture came from every possible channel.
Культура поступала через все возможные каналы.
But if you asked who decided 10 years ago who is going to be the next superstar? Who decided 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, who is going to be the next superstar? What do you think was the answer?
Как вы думаете, если бы на тот момент, 10-20 назад вас спросили, кто решает, кто станет следующей суперзвездой, какой бы был ответ?
Naive.
Общество?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Not even producers. Labels. Okay? So this model 2.0 was basically a bottleneck. Okay? So you had lots of creators, you had huge markets, but the decisions, who gets to the labels, was done by very narrow group of people. Which film is going to be made? Then Hollywood decided, a group of producers. Who is going to have the next CD? It was Universal deciding. putting millions of dollars to develop that artist, and then hopefully, not always it happened, of course, but they decided. So what is the potential for a Ukrainian artist to become a next superstar? Zero. Okay? Now we have already moved to, or moving quickly to culture 3.0, which means that the bottleneck is basically missing. I have never listened to Justin Bieber, but I maybe some of you know, how did Justin Bieber became famous? Do you know? How was Justin Bieber found? Anyone knows the story? Boy from Canada. Anyone? So there was he sent CDs to a label, and somebody listens to the CD and found him, and no? Absolutely no. There was a video on YouTube. No, yes, but in 2.0 note. Now society decides. Basically, there is a very fused, or basically there is no difference or a line between producer of culture and consumer of culture. Everybody is suddenly producers and consumers. Yeah? It has often been said that it's not even it's pointless to send your CDs, if you're a singer, to send your CD to a label, because nobody's listening. What do the labels do? They are only watching YouTubes and MySpace and SoundClouds, and they are watching who gets million clicks. That is worth looking at. Yeah. Yeah? Even better than that, producing almost very high level culture, it has never been so cheap as today. If 10 years ago you wanted to make a movie, you had to be a millionaire. If you want to be a filmmaker today, you need this. It's app. If you have something else, forget about it. Apple. You need Apple, not just. You need this. If you want to be a sound artist, singer, you need very little money compared to sound studios that you had to rent 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Okay? No? Yeah. Of course, this is not the highest level culture. If you want to make very high level, you need to go to these studios. But to get to that level, it's quite cheap nowadays. Okay? And why I'm talking about this now is that this means fantastic opportunities for countries like Estonia or Ukraine, for people not only from Kiev or London or New York, but also small places. Because suddenly it doesn't really matter where are you from. Okay?
Почему я об этом сейчас говорю? Потому что для таких стран, как Эстония, внезапно это является чудесным шансом подняться в культуре, и для этого не нужно быть из каких-то суперразвитых стран для работы, Нью-Йорк, Лондон и так далее.
He says that the last phase that we have been entering is called non-things.
Томас Судачек последним этапом считает так называемый этап немыслей,
It's emotions. Yeah?
эмоций.
It is entertainment. It is about appeal. It's about design. It's about experience.
Развлечение, опыт, дизайн, разработка.
Experience. Yeah? Opet. Yes. In the Nordic countries, this is all called experience economy.
В наших северных странах это называется экономика опыта.
Absolutely, no problem. The world more and more is ready to pay for non-things. The world, across the world, people are ready to pay more for feelings, emotions, and experiences. Okay?
И глобально во всем мире люди все более и более готовы платить за нематериальные блага, такие как чувства, как опыт, как эмоции.
So usually when we talk about these industries, we think about certain sectors. In Europe, we usually talk about the core art sectors.
Но когда мы говорим о творческой индустрии, мы, как правило, говорим о определенных секторах этой экономики, такие как ключевые креативные поля,
Like visual arts,
как визуальное искусство,
performing arts,
творческое театральное искусство,
cultural heritage,
культурное наследие.
like museum, for example. You know this. Museum itself might not be a business, some of them are, but it might not be a business, but it is a very important part for the businesses in tourism. Yeah?
Например,
Yeah?
вот музей. Музей сам по себе может не быть бизнесом, может быть не но как объект он очень важен для других бизнесов.
Then you have what they call cultural and creative industries. In culture industries, you usually talk about publishing, music industry, games, which is very important here in Ukraine, IT apps, games, and film and video making.
Ну, следующий слой это так называемый
Культурный.
индустрии, да, которые относятся к публикации, журналов, книги, производство музыки, игр, фильма и видеопродукции.
And then you have creative industries specifically said with design, architectural, advertisement. Yeah?
Ну, следующий слой индустрии это так называемые креативные индустрии, которые занимаются дизайном, архитектурой и рекламой.
And the way that the culture creative industries, so in the middle, are interacting with the rest of the economy, this is called, wait, where is my, oh yes, this is called creative economy.
Именно то, как взаимодействуют вот эти вот сферы, сектора культурной индустрии, как они взаимодействуют с всей окружающей средой экономики, и есть культурная экономика.
Yeah. So that is one of the lessons from today. If you talk about creative industries, you mean sectors, number like music sector, film sector, design sector, etc., that work in that creativity arena. Yeah.
Это, если вы говорите про креативную индустрию, это именно те индустрии, которые производят музыку, фильмы, рекламу и так далее.
So when you say, for example, on local, we want to develop creative industries, then you mean that you want to develop those businesses working in those sectors. Okay?
Вы говорите, что вы хотите развивать креативную индустрию, то вы именно имеете в виду, что хотите развивать
But if you want to develop the links between creatives and other sectors, then you actually work in the field of creative economy. Yeah? One of the very usual examples that have been brought is, for example, the success story of Skoda and Kia. Guys know Skodas and Kias? Yes? Yeah. Think about 10, 15 years ago, Skoda. 15 years ago, Skoda. Would you have bought Skoda 15 years ago? 15 years ago, you remember Skoda? It was one of the worst cars ever. 15 years ago. You're not 15 years old. You can't remember that. Yeah. Kia was a sign of a bad quality. Yeah. Skoda was an ugly car. These companies did three main things. Firstly, invested into technology. But that's not enough. Secondly, they completely changed the business model. That's not enough. Thirdly, they invested heavily into design. They created one of the strongest design teams within their car companies. And nowadays, to have Skoda or Kia is not a thing of have to be in shame. Yeah, it's actually a cool thing to have that car. Okay. So why do we talk about this? Why, when you said, I said 95% of policymakers don't know about this. Yeah. Everywhere in the world, absolutely everywhere in the world, culture is the very first area where budgets are cut if times get tough, and it's always the last area that somebody gives money back. Always. The reason is simple. People are not anti-culture. They simply don't understand what culture can give to them. For them, culture is something that comes after everything else important. Yeah? Health and education and food, and if you have everything else, then, culture is a nice thing to have. Look at this. Let's look only Estonia. 1.2 million people. Okay? Post-Soviet country. We are not London. We are not San Francisco. We are Estonia. Okay? Yes, Europe. 4.5. This is actually old. Around 5. We know that it has been growing a bit. So around 5% of all people in Estonia work in those sectors. And nowadays it is around 12% of all registered companies in Estonia are registered in those sectors. And in the times of crisis, because Estonia went into crisis 2007, and this was the first year of growth. This was when we got euro. And from this to this, the number of companies increased 44%. in the creative industries.
И после того, как Эстония вошла в кризис в 2007 году, за 4 года, в 2011 году был первый год, когда был прирост в этих секторах. Компании, работающие с креативной индустрией, увеличились до 44%.
Now, if you would be a mayor, you, what was your name? Oleg. Oleg. If you would be the mayor, or if you would be a prime minister of a country, and you don't like this culture people a lot, and you know they're always messing and museums and theaters, and you read, sorry? Oh, okay. So, but try to imagine, yeah. And now suddenly, as a prime minister, you hear that those sectors that you think is, you know, just entertainment, is actually a source of 12% of all your companies, around 5% of all the people working, and depending on definition, around 3% of your GDP. Would you listen? Yeah?
Если вы выбрали премьер-министром, явно на эти цифры, на самом деле не видите этих людей, которые всего по музеям, непонятно чем занимаются, вы видите цифры, что именно эти сектора экономики дают вам около 3% ВВП, являются около 5% всех рабочих людей в стране, и дали прирост во время кризиса 44%.
Oleg would you listen? Yes, you would. You wouldn't listen, even now. Well, luckily European Union governments listen this very well. That's why creative industries has become one of the priority sectors in almost all 28 countries. Yes. Yes. Filming companies, photo companies, design companies, architectural companies, but also museums, libraries, what was else there? Music, bands, producers, labels, radio, television, etc. So all those that I mentioned before. Yeah? Now, this is important because that means these people are not unemployed. Yeah? During the crisis, when they lost jobs from other sectors, they didn't go for unemployment benefit. Yeah? Yeah. Secondly, this is absolutely a great source of new innovation and talent. Yeah? Do you know anything about Estonian success? Do you know that Estonia is in the world at the moment? Estonia has the most startups per capita. Did you know that? Yeah. Second place is Israel. Yeah. Do you know any startup, any companies ever coming out from Estonia? Anyone? Skype, yes, absolutely. Skype coming out from Estonia. Also, we have a company now which is hopefully a next Skype in the financial world, which is called TransferWise. Have you heard of this name? TransferWise? Now they are huge. They are also a billion euro evaluated, and they are in London, headquarter, etc. Yeah. By the way, Forbes once came to Estonia to make a story in the magazine to ask why on earth is Estonia so why there is so many startups in that country. Well, we have not even heard about this country. So why are there so many startups? You know what they said? There's 3 reasons. The first reason they said in the article, weather.
Погода.
It said if you need to live in such a shitty weather all year long, there's nothing better for you to do to stay in and program. Okay?
Живете в такой неблагосклонной погоде.
Shitty was the word, not near black.
Бывает, короче, лучше погода. То вам просто нечем заняться, кроме как придумать какие-то стартапы.
Second reason, and this is what when you are, for example, in your city developing creative industries, you need to achieve. Second is that they call it Skype effect.
Второй причиной это то, что они назвали эффектом Skype.
You know what the Skype effect is? Exactly. I work a lot in Eastern and Central European countries. I work with Czech Republic and Croatia and Serbia and Slovakia and Hungary and many, many countries. They have 5 million people, 10 million people, 15 million people. You talk to these people, young people in universities. You know what they tell you? We are a small country. If we want to be anyone, we need to go to Germany or to London or to US, so we need to leave our country.
Ну, вы знаете,
Yeah.
я работал очень много в странах Центральной и Восточной Европы, как Хорватия и так далее. Очень страны небольшие, по 5 миллионов. Первое, когда я спрашиваю, почему, что вы делаете, они говорят, нам, чтобы расти, нам нужно выйти куда-то.
Yeah.
Если мы хотим развиваться, нам нужно
We are small, we can't do anything. Yeah. In Estonia, it's like they are brainwashed. Yeah. It's not even logical. It's simply every Estonian young person thinks that they are capable of making next Skype.
В Эстонии, если спросить, мне кажется, второй представляет результаты исходя через Skype и видишь себя тоже потенциал, может развиваться.
So it's a self-confidence issue.
Это вопрос уверенности в себе.
Okay. So this looks nice, but there are problems. And now we are getting to the model, why we need to develop creative industries and how. Okay? The problem is that everywhere in the world, as long as it has been studied, creative industries have number of differences from other sectors.
Ну, в общем, цифры выглядят достаточно неплохо, но есть проблемы, есть вопросы. Проблема в том, что практически по всему миру, сколько это было исследовано, у всех креативных индустрий есть ряд проблем.
Because often the economist or the mayor, the politicians would tell you, if you talk about business, then it's business as usual. Yeah? Why are you talking about it's culture or it is about business? Why are you mixing those two?
Ну, как раз вы говорите о креативной индустрии с политиками, они говорят так, давайте говорить либо о культуре, либо о бизнесе.
Yeah.
Не надо мешать.
So they don't understand what is so special about that sector of businesses.
Потому что они не понимают особенности этого сектора.
The first reason is written here. Across the world, we know from studies that average size of a creative company is much smaller than average size of any other company from other sectors.
Ну, по данным исследований, по всему миру средний размер компаний в сфере креативной индустрии намного меньше среднестатистической компании другого.
Around 90% of all companies in the world of creative industries is micro companies, 1 to 2, maximum 3 people.
90% всех компаний
Yeah.
в сфере креативных индустрий по всему миру это микрокомпании, 1-2, максимум 3 человека.
But most of the public measures or policies to support businesses are designed for small or medium-sized companies, 10 to 50 or 100 people. Okay?
В то время как, как правило, политика поддержки бизнеса в этих странах рассчитана на компании среднего размера от 10 до 50 человек.
In Estonia, an average income per company in the creative industries is only 20% of an average income per company in other sectors. So on average, the income is only 1/5 of the overall economy. Okay?
И доход на компании в сфере креативной индустрии составляет всего 20% общего дохода на экономику. В то время как
So they are small. Yeah? The companies are small. What else is the problem with that sector? Firstly, in addition to being micro enterprises, they do grow faster as a sector. They are the fastest growing sector.
И несмотря на то, что, как правило, все компании ниже размера, они составляют наиболее быстро развивающийся сектор экономики.
But maybe unlike in other sectors, the difference between, or the conflict between lifestyle companies and high growth companies is starker than anywhere else. So the difference between the high growth companies in creative industries and lifestyle is more visible than in other areas. Lifestyle company. You know lifestyle? You don't know lifestyle. Lifestyle company are those companies that don't want to grow. Most of the creative companies are lifestyle companies. You start with your business. You like whatever you make. I don't know, baby toys. Maybe you like toys or whatever. Yeah, you two, maybe three of you. You like your company, your friends. Yeah, you have a little shop. And now a consultant comes and says, so if you invest 10,000 euros, you can take 50% larger space. You can hire 3 more people. You can start subcontracting, and you say no. No. We are happy with the 3. We get our money, and well, family business, yeah. But it's not always family business, yeah. But it's a lifestyle, meaning I do it because I like to do it. But I don't have an aim to grow, ambition growth. Yes. Yeah?
Особенность этого сектора экономики является то, что, несмотря на то, что он очень быстро развивается как сектор, компании, когда не стремятся к большому росту и развитию, и если вы, допустим, вдвоем делаете то, что вам нравится, вы не планируете в будущем нанимать еще там двое-трое людей, которые будут принести там больше дохода.
This must be thought right away when you develop strategy in a local, regional, or national level. Is it okay if companies stay as a lifestyle or family business? Is it okay or not? Is it in your strategy or not?
И этот момент
Yeah?
нужно учитывать при постройке стратегии развития этого сектора экономики. Подходит ли, нормально ли это то, что компания не будет дальше развиваться и станет когда-то.
Of course you want more growth. You want more growth.
Вам бы хотелось, чтобы компания развивалась.
But these people are not unemployed. So it's good for your economy.
То есть у людей есть работа, для экономики это хорошо.
They earn their living.
Они заработают себе на жизнь,
Maybe they get a pocket money.
может, им нормальные деньги дополнительно.
And this is also important for creating a creative environment in your city, for example. Yeah, lot of small businesses.
И также это очень важно для создания креативной атмосферы в вашем городе. Очень много маленьких креативных компаний.
Another one. Even though this is a very fast-growing sector, we also know that if crisis hits, this is the sector that suffers first.
Но в то же время, как этот сектор быстро развивается, с приходом кризиса этот сектор наиболее подвержен влиянию.
Grows quicker, falls quicker.
Растет быстро, так
Why? Why? Why does it go? Yeah. It is the first service to be cut. So for example, in times of crisis, what is the company would cut the marketing cost, maybe wouldn't buy advertisement, maybe do not invest into new product development, designers, all of that. Yeah, they use the old one. So this is not only the businesses themselves lose customers, but also business to business customers are chopping out. Yeah.
С приходом кризиса компании в первую очередь уезжают расходы на маркетинг, на рекламу, на дизайн. И поэтому страдает не только компания от потери собственных клиентов, но компании отношения бизнес к бизнесу тоже теряют.
Can I have some more water? Thanks. Then we have this problem that probably those that have worked in creative industries know very well, and it is that in the creative industries, the employment is a 21st century employment, future employment.
То, что индустрия знает, это то, что работа в креативных индустриях это работа 21 века.
You know that. People are mobile, they don't need offices, co-working spaces. Today we do a business, tomorrow we do a business, then you do a business, then we do all bigger business. Yeah. It is interdisciplinary. Today I need your skill, tomorrow I need your skill, and I'm not hiring you, so it's very mobile, flexible. And think about your country's employment laws. They are designed in the times of Ford factory in US. That is, your employment laws are meant for a Ford factory worker in 1900s in US.
Если рассмотреть ваши законы, ваше законодательство в сфере трудовой деятельности, то это те законы, которые применялись фабрикам Форда в Америке в начале 20 века.
So if if you're a designer, or if you are a writer, or if you are a musician here in the room, you would know that even though you might pay as much taxes as any other person, you might not get the social security.
Если вы, допустим, дизайнер или работаете в сфере экономики, несмотря на то, что вы платите те же налоги, которые делают другие трудящиеся, вы не получаете социальных поддержки.
Because the law is written in all across the world that you have to work every day, you get salary every month, you have to pay taxes every month, and then you get your social security. But if you're a writer, you write 1 year, you get only maybe book out once a year in December, you get quite a lot of money, you can get quite a lot of money, you pay your taxes equally to everybody else, but it doesn't mean that you get the social security because your income does not come every month. Okay? So this means why this is so untypical for the labor laws. And then there's a problem of intangible assets. I told you about the problem of intellectual property. Yeah? This is here. This is the biggest problem of that sector for development. Yeah? Why? Because simple reason. There has been no agreed model in the world or in Europe to assess the value of your intellectual property. So any other business in any other sector goes for bank for a loan. Puts down, explains the business model, puts down the down payment, says that this is how I guarantee I have my house, or I have my factory, I have my workers, I have a metal here, I have tires here, I have my equipment here. Yeah, everything you can touch. Yeah, the bank comes and touches, and knows that if you fail, I'm going to take it. What about this? No way. And the last problem is here. If you are a creative company and you go to, I don't know, Dnipropetrovsk, Lutsk, or whatever, business development agency. So you are a creative company. You go to a business development agency and say, here is my plan. I'm a musician, for example. I'm a producer. I'm a filmmaker. Can you give me support, credit? What do they usually tell us across the world? What do they tell us? What do they tell us? Exactly, not tomorrow. They say, go away because we are business development, but you are culture. Yeah? So you go to culture ministry or department next day, yes? What do they tell you? They tell you, go away because you're business. We are culture. So basically, the problem of entire creative industries, it's nobody's steal. Nobody's steal. Yeah? So this is the last slide I have with words on it, and then I have a couple of pictures. Those who have to leave can leave. The others I can maybe still take some of your time. I'm not going to go in detail because that's the report that I mentioned you before. That is the model. Yeah? So 28 experts from each EU country came together in Brussels for 1.5 years to understand what have the successful places in Europe done in order to develop creative industries. And this was what they firstly looked at, this middle level only. Yeah. We collected 150 examples from all the countries and cities that we could reach. 150 practical examples of things, programs, companies, programs, systems, strategies, measures that work. Okay, more than 150. We made a system out of it. We looked at how step by step they have been doing this, and of course you cannot copy paste. You cannot copy paste any model, but what we learned was pretty much without copy pasting, the main steps seem to be pretty similar. Okay? So, and the first question we had in the middle was, what can the government do, any level government, to support the businesses working in culture creative industries? Simple question. And this is not exhaustive list. But firstly, we understood that there are lots of people with fantastic ideas, but they lack skills in making this into business. Yeah? Your schools and universities do not prepare professionals for this world. Yeah? Business skills of graduates are very bad. a designer and an engineer studying for 5 years or 6 years in your university for a bachelor will never meet during the studies. And the first day after graduation, they need to start working together. And everybody's shocked why nobody speaks the same language, why they don't understand each other, why they don't know each other. Okay? So this is universities.
Инженер, которые проучились 5 лет в одном университете и ни разу друг друга не видели, после выпуска должны внезапно стать и работать друг с другом.
So that's why you need to start capacity building. That means trainings,
И поэтому нужно развивать потенциал. Это включает в себя тренинги,
mentorship programs,
программы менторства,
coaching,
коучинга,
study visits,
учебные встречи,
and all these kind of things. Okay? So you need training, training, training.
подготовка, тренинги.
Secondly, you need physical infrastructure. I don't know exactly how is the situation here in Ukraine, but everywhere in Europe, usually office spaces or creation spaces for creative industries is too expensive. Yeah?
У меня ситуация абсолютно в Европе. Офисы и места работы для креативной индустрии, как правило, очень дорогостоящие.
Also, other thing is that creative people like to work with other creative people in the same space. Yeah.
Как правило, креативные люди любят работать с другими креативными людьми в одном помещении.
So you help, like your Art Savot platforma here, like you have many of those here, you have many in other places. I've been to Odessa in some of the places. We in Estonia, in Tallinn, we developed a huge center like this, a Tallinn Creative Hub. That is the factory which was the main location for Stalker movie for Tarkovsky, if you ever seen this. So the entrance to the zone is where we have the creative factory now.
Ну, как ваша платформа, мы сделали похожие работы в нашей стране, в Сталине,
If you add these two together, physical infrastructure plus know-how, you get to a creative business incubation programs. Yeah, they can be incubators, accelerators.
Если совместить
Yeah.
физическую инфраструктуру с развитием творческого потенциала, у вас появляется бизнес креативный инкубатор или акселератор.
This is very successful in Estonia. We have 3 of them nationally.
Это стало очень успешным в Эстонии. У нас это признано, считается новым.
Success rate of companies coming out from incubators is much higher than the others.
Уровень успешности компаний, которые выходят из инкубатора, намного выше, чем у других в этой сфере.
You might ask, why not simple business incubator? Why creative business incubator?
Можете спросить, почему именно креативный бизнес-инкубатор, а не просто креативный?
For 3 reasons.
По 3 причинам.
Firstly,
Во-первых,
creative people like spaces where they can design it themselves. They don't like sterile euro remont.
во-первых, креативные
А?
люди любят помещение, где
А?
необходимо самопостроить под себя,
Yeah.
самосконструировать.
Secondly, the know-how, the expertise, the consulting needs to be different simply because usual business consultants don't understand how creative company works. Okay? So you need a specialized know-how.
Ну, во-вторых, консалтинг в этой сфере, ноу-хау, технологии, все это отличается от обычных бизнес, и обычные консультанты в этой сфере не имеют тех знаний, тех навыков, необходимых.
And thirdly, creative businesses want to be together with other creative businesses.
Ну, в-третьих, креативный бизнес хочет быть рядом с другими креативными компаниями.
So creative if you put a creative business in the middle of medicine companies and tourism company and consulting and accounting, they would die. Yeah? From inside. Внутри. Они капут.
Если вы поместили какие-то креативные компании посреди медицины, фармакологии, консалтинга, аудита, они просто забудут.
Thirdly, you need to solve the problem of access to finance. Yeah.
Следующее, вам нужно решить проблему доступа к финансам.
As I said, difficult to get loans from banks
Очень тяжело получить кредит в банке.
because they don't understand you, your model.
Они очень понимают,
So here we have in Europe many, many, many innovative ways. Of course, crowdfunding is upcoming. Of course, crowdfunding. Великая idea. Also, creative vouchers. Very well in Europe working. So you give these small credits for companies to work together across the sectors. But there are more. In that report, there are lists, so I'm not going to go through all of that. Since average creative company is so small, they need to start working together. I don't know how it's in Ukraine, but in Estonia, we are so introvert, they simply don't want to work together. We are so individualist, like you simply don't work together. And if you don't work together and you're one person in your company or two, you will not, you get a, you know this joke, we got a company, a design company, got a small offer from China to produce small quantity of 100,000 pieces in 1 month. And they could only produce 10 in 1 month, okay? So, I mean, to make bigger offers, you have to cluster, yeah? You have to work together with others. And lastly, if you want to survive in small country, export is a question of life and death. Yeah? But I also think that for Ukraine, this is important. So, this was what we did. We have lots of examples here, small things. Looks good. We have good statistics. And then we looked at this situation in Europe and we found out that there are many, 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 many places in Europe that haven't done anything. Why? And we understood that probably before you can talk about this level, how can we support creative industries development, you need something else. You need to start creating preconditions for this to happen. We know that in most of the countries, the first thing you have done is that you have mapped or studied your creative industry's potential. That was the statistics that I told you, because statistics help to convince policymakers. Okay? Secondly, you need to build strategic alliances. I don't personally know any successful case in Europe of developing creative industries, any successful case where Ministry of Culture or Department of Culture hasn't closely worked together with Department or Ministry of Education. and also work together with the Ministry of Economy, and also work together with the Ministry of Regional Development. As I said, this is not an issue for the Ministry of Culture. It is a joint issue that needs a joint answer. The absolutely simplest way to diagnose the health of creative industries development in any place is when I meet, I'm from culture background. Yeah. When I meet with a cultural person, a cultural minister or cultural department head from that place, and when I asked very simple question, if you take out your mobile phone, do you at this very moment in your mobile phone have a number and a name of your colleague in the Ministry or Department of Economy? If the answer is no, we are somewhere very early stage, okay? Then thirdly, you need to start raise awareness. We created 2008 Creative Estonia. Started to do a lot of programs to create interest and awareness for policymakers, businesses, creatives, cultural sector, all the included people. I started to work in the ministry in 2005. At 2005, there was we mapped all articles about creative industries in Estonia. We counted. Yeah. About creative industries. Yeah. Yeah. And there was all together in 1 year 5 articles in Estonia about creative industries. Today, because of the professional work of Creative Estonia, there is 65 articles about creative industries in Estonian media. Articles? No, articles. Publicatie, articles. Yeah? News. Stories. Каждый месяц. Okay? So that's the level. And then you need to have a local policy, what you mentioned. Then you have a strategy in place. You say, how do we all put this together? Okay? The most important thing we did in Estonia here was that, like you, from communist times, we had artistic unions in each of the sector. Yeah? Yeah, Soyuz, writers union, painters union, designers union, all of that. Yeah. Yeah. They are important because they fight for the social right or social status of an artist. But that's it. So what we did was that we, in a government, said that here is a bunch of money. If you as a sector want to get that money, you can, in each of the sectors, each of culture sectors, you can develop or create your own center for your culture sector's business and export development. We have now 10 of those centers in design, architecture, film, theater, visual arts, all of that. And these centers work only with the business development of the sector and the export development of the sector. Yeah. We have games, game center, game development center, yeah. Yeah, for example, etc. Suddenly we have partners in the government. Yeah? So we have partners in the sector. So that's basically it. However, of course you understand that while everything I've been telling you is important, for the policymakers, when it really gets interesting, is when we can show how culture creativity can add value also to other areas of life. I developed this for 10 years in Estonia, this system. We have a lot of European Union money in that system. But we don't have a strategy. There is no, if you ask me, Ragnar, can you send me Estonian strategy document of creative industries development? I say, к сожалению, у нас нет этот документ. Нет такого. Absolutely not. Why? Because for us it was more important that culture and creativity are included in all the other strategies. You don't need another strategy. There's a million of those. Yeah. These are the strategies you have money. At least in some countries you have some money in them. Yeah. So if you get culture and creative industries included in your national or your local economic development strategy, fantastic. In your innovation policy, is culture creativity one of the priority sectors? In Estonia it is. Yeah. Regional development strategy, is culture creativity included or not? Yeah. And my favorite example, you are sitting here, tourism. 2007, I'm sitting in ministry and I get on my table for commenting a new national tourism strategy made in the Ministry of Economy. (164 pages). There was paragraphs about airport, roads, signs. There was a special paragraph about a chapter about public toilets. But of course, as you can understand from my story, there was not even a mention of the word culture in that strategy. So my comment back to the Minister of Economy was, do you think that our tourists come to see our public toilets? Yeah? We did a mapping exercise in Estonia for local level, only local level because Tallinn is too big for that, to understand what is the direct economic impact of cultural events. We did a very innovative methodology because it was small places, small countries, small places. We can do this. We went to a region. There was an event, a festival. We took a circle, made a 20-kilometer round around that place, contacted every single restaurant, hotel, shop, etc. Yeah. Asked them to report before event, during event, after event. Yeah. Because there are a lot of statistical reports, but we wanted to know exactly what is the impact, direct impact for that event to those companies. On average of those, we took 20 events, 20 festivals. On average, €1 that was put into the budget of that event gave total of €4 back to the local economy. Yes. Yeah. And only direct. So no long-term tourist impact, visibility, no, only jobs, income. This is the next big battle that we have, absolutely. The problem is that they would, it's a bit of, yeah, absolutely. They would say, yeah, that's what we did. Yeah. Yeah. In Sweden they do that, by the way. So there are countries that do that very well. In Estonia, cowboy capitalism. Yeah. And you say, then we go somewhere else. One event went somewhere, like away, and they were not happy. Okay. So that's just a picture of, again, a lot of examples here, but it's actually not very difficult to develop creative industries because much of that has already been done in other places. So, I just want to finish with few quick examples, only pictures. I also have videos, but I might not show the videos at all. I can send them to you later, there are links. Because actually the reason that I'm personally so passionate about this sector is not only to help creative professionals to live better as creative businessmen.
мыслей является следующим.
Creative industries is a place where business thinking, technology, and creativity come together. And if you put that mix together, you can solve some of the most pressing issues of our times.
Если объединить бизнес-мышление, технологии и творчество, свести их воедино, это позволяет решить, пожалуй, наиболее сложные проблемы нашего будущего состояния.
Few examples. Here is the link you can later, if I'm sending to you, you can check this video. This is a tea hailer. Yeah, you know this story? Tea hailer. Like t-shirt. Tea hailer, yeah. Yeah. Tea hailer. The problem was that there were lots, you know that asthma is a growing sickness across the developed world. And in UK, they found out the simple statistics that in case of children, 75% of those children that end up in intensive care because of asthma, 75% of them could be avoided if they only knew how to inhale correctly. And this story is very famous. There were a lot of investment, a lot of innovation, a lot of process to try to change the inhalers, and it didn't work. Yeah. What can you do? Do you do a better online campaign? Yeah. How can you teach children to inhale on the picture? It can't. Yeah. Yeah. Inhalator. Yeah. Another problem was that there were people saying, let's put stronger medicine in. But that's dangerous for those that actually take it correctly. Yeah. So the story goes that after all this innovation, and which didn't work, they took this out of the box thinking. Okay? They included medicine personnel, so doctors, engineers, IT guys, game developers, musicians, all these completely mixed people. Yeah. Can you come up with something new, something completely different, because nothing works? This is what they came up with. Now, this is not an inhaler. This is a practice inhalator. This is at your doctor's office. It is connected with Bluetooth with a computer of the doctor. And when the child is at the doctor's place, getting the inhalator, a regular inhalator, then they practice together how to inhale with this. On your computer screen, you have a game. Extremely simple game. It's a golf game. There's a hole and a ball. If you inhale too little, the ball stops before the hole. If you take it too rapidly, the ball goes one way or another. If you do it correctly, it goes in the in the hole. Children are extremely bad in following instructions. They are excellent in playing games. Yeah. And even in that video, finally, that when you got it right 1, 2, 3, 4 times, the children say, "Yes, I won." Yeah, maybe gets a candy as well. Yeah. 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 So that's the power of musicians or game developers or designers or artists, to think completely from the other point of the view.
Это является тем преимуществом музыкантов и разработчиков компьютерных игр и искусствоведов кого бы то ни было перед всеми остальными, потому что у них это направление другой дисциплины.
I work with a Creative Business Cup. I have worked with Creative Business Cup for many years.
Я очень длительное время работал с
Creative Business Cup.
кубком креативного бизнеса.
Yeah. It's a global, only global Creative Business Cup in the world. In its headquarters is Copenhagen.
Это глобальная мировая компания.
We basically have the first year now here as well in Isolatia. They organize this. Yeah. The national. Yeah. No, so 60 countries select a winner, local winner, and they all send them to Copenhagen to compete.
60 стран каждая у себя выбирает победителя, который выбрал, представляет страну на кубке Creativity Business.
This one 3 years ago. Croatian company. They make teddy bears. Toys, yeah, Mishka. Да? What's creative about that? In that teddy bear, you have included chips, what's in English? Sensors. And when the child sleeps with the teddy bear, it actually collects medical information about the child, temperature, movement, and that sends this information right for the mother in your mobile phone. So you basically know how is your child in the morning, or if in the night there's something wrong with them. Okay, so it's a like a personal doctor sleeping together with your child. Okay. It knows how you feel and shares that with your mommy. We had another winner from 2 years ago from Poland. They were a game developing company. You can go again, there's all the links. It's a game development company, made games. But then understood that also from their own children and they themselves, really the school chemistry lessons were boring. And in Poland, the problem was that you didn't have enough money for all the equipment to make all the test, explosions. Yeah? You don't have materials. Yeah? So the children are not excited about chemistry. So this is the augmented reality chemistry teacher. Augmented reality. Basically, it looks like this: that the children they have the big screen either home or school. So schools are buying, and basically you have those different materials on your cards. It is read from the camera, and when you move them, actually each card is like this. So when you, for example, move the two together, you actually mix the two, and they either explode, they do different things, they go to smoke. It explains why. It shows you what happened. Yeah? So basically it is experimenting in your chemistry class without any need for protection or explosion, blinding you. Okay? Again.
Что эта программа позволяет сделать, это смешивать разные материалы, разноцветные, и смотреть на каждую реакцию, и после этого программа объясняет, почему так произошло.
Sometimes we say that this innovation is born from within the company.
Иногда мы говорим, что эта инновация родилась именно в середине компании, то есть из собственного опыта.
You all know Lego, yes? Danish company.
Все знаете Lego, это датская компания.
Many years ago, a person, a designer, an artist, approached Lego and said, in addition to your games, let's start a Lego architecture. Let's start to make products that you can actually, for adults to play. To make Eiffel Towers, White Houses, Sydney Opera Houses, or whatever. Yeah? Lego said no. Didn't see the business opportunity. The guy didn't stop. Bought thousands of Lego pieces. Started a movement of actually building famous buildings from Lego. Lego saw this happening, came to the guy, bought the idea. The guy became rich. And now this Lego architecture series is selling very well across the world. I think they have around 50 different types of buildings you can do. Okay? So that's the story how a company didn't recognize a business opportunity from within the company, basically. Yeah? Now next one is one of my favorite. It was a second place in the Creative Business Cup. Yeah. It's from Latvia. Gigi Blocks. And why I love it is because from here, I loved Legos when I was a boy. I loved them. But the problem is that you play with your small games, but then smaller children, they also like to play homes and build houses and in the garden and all of that. Yeah. So how can you mix the two? So they created these paper blocks. These come in a flat form. It's easy to put them together, and they become like this papka, or like what is it, like this strong paper, kartong. Yeah, it's from kartong. It actually can carry water, so it can be outside, no problem. And it's basically Lego. It is your Lego. Yeah, it's from kartong. You can make full-size castles, you can make houses, you can make towns, whatever you want. You see? This is all, the color is kartong, brown, so you can actually paint. Children want to paint on them, so they color them, they paint them, and this company is doing very well, selling to schools, selling to kindergartens, selling to homes, etc. Yeah?
Эти картонные кирпичики могут выдерживать воду, их можно красить, и развивается, компания весьма успешна в продажах этого картонного лего в школы и детские сады.
So I've taken more of your time. I went to Rivne 2 months ago.
Немножко времени вашего займу. Пару месяцев назад я ездил в Ровно.
I was told you always need to say Rivne. I know, I'm joking. And yes, yes, yes. And I'm not in Kiev. I'm in Kiev. Yes. You're yeah, brilliant. I went to Rivne, and we had this fantastic day of we talked about these things, and we talked about policies and all of that. And after my speech, there was a little break, 5 minutes, and then they had organized a pitching session for 6 or 7 creative companies from Rivne. Sales pitch, presentations.
Ровно был чудесный день в Риме. И я зачитаю документы, и это все. Вот. А потом у нас была презентационная сессия 7 разных предприятий в Риме.
So in that 5 minutes between the two, I'm taken to the journalist to make an interview.
И мы между компаниями были такие 5-минутные перерывы, и в эти 5 минут была предоставлена интервью.
The journalist asks me, "Oh, it was all very nice and inspiring, but do you think that we in Rivne have any potential? That we have any great ideas, or that we have anyone that could do this?"
Журналист мне задает вопрос. Презентация была чудесная, очень вдохновляющая, но как вы считаете, есть ли у нас в нашем Риме какой-то потенциал?
Well, I had no idea. I had not seen anyone from that city. Yeah.
Понятия никакого не было.
So I said I lied. I said some blah blah blah.
Поэтому я соврал, наговорил
Mhm.
воды.
And I thought maybe it's really a place where there's no hope. Yeah. Even if they don't believe, maybe it's a really bad place. I mean, there's nothing to do.
И про себя подумал, что если они даже сами в это не верят, то, может, действительно там нет, наверное.
I met also earlier in the morning with the mayor of Rivne. He was very excited. He wanted to support, but he didn't know any actual companies or players. So I really felt that it is all nice story, but there is no one on the field doing anything.
В день ранее утром я встречался с мэром Ровно, и тот был очень восхищен всем этим креативным действием, но, правда, не знал ни одной компании, которая этим занимается. Вот. Поэтому реально складывалось впечатление, что всем занимаются, но реально в школе никого нет.
So I went to this room, and then the 7 pitching started, 7 presentations started.
Потом я вернулся в зал, и после этого начали презентацию.
I was shocked.
Я был шокирован.
Very creative, very high quality business ideas.
Я был шокирован качеством бизнес-идей.
Designer making very interesting tables out of cut wood. So you have all the circles of the wood. So it was like this beautiful coffee tables for cafeterias or something like that.
Идеи были замечательные, например, как одна это сделать столик для кофе, который сделан из срезов деревьев, то есть он только видите все годовалые
Do something or that have potential of doing something. And I think that not supporting this creativity is criminal.
После этого видя все эти идеи, я понял, что в таких городах, как Ровно, 200-300 тысяч, и тем более в таких регионах, как Петропавловск, миллион, я спокоен, что есть люди, которые либо уже занимаются и делают свое творчество, либо у них уже есть идеи. И не поддерживать это творчество, с моей точки зрения, это преступление.
No, that was not it. That's it.
Oh, sorry, I have a small question.
Yes, please.
If everything was super interesting and something new,
But now comes but.
an open mind, but how we can use it? No, I think we all some kind of businessman, and we not go, we don't go to the incubators and do nothing, but like the businessman, which have our own business, how we can
That's what I started with, asking what kind of expectations are in the room, because um, every level can do something. I work with governments to put our cities, to put up these incubators and strategies and all of that. I work with EU to help you with indicators and knowledge base and the mappings. I have worked for many, many years with incubators and accelerators, and I'm a mentor of creative companies. So your question is actually more practical. You need people who understand creative businesses to go over with your business plan, your idea. You need, there's half a room full of advisors, consultants who would help you. So this one here, this meeting here, cannot help you, but we need to have those people that you can turn to. In Estonia, we have those people. So if you have a creative company, you want idea on either how to develop your business, how to develop your product, how to find new export markets, you have lots of places to go to advise. You go to incubator, you go to mentor, you go to coach program, you go to accelerator, you go to advisor. Sometimes it's free, sometimes you pay. It depends on the service. So this is, and do you have places like this here? My opinion is that you have very little places like this in Ukraine. So if you have a question, you don't really have no one who can help to find an answer. So that's my view. Yes.
I would like to leave, but before that, I would like to thank you for this speech and congratulations to the next Estonian selling Estonia very well. So I used to be the Minister of Economy, the department chief. You told us e-commerce, e-government, very successfully. Now yourself, maybe it should be not seen because Estonia is from E. Anyway, you will create how to call it the E. So thank you for this presentation. And from my side, I would like to tell that you are invited if you have time to talk to our mayor in Dnipro, because in fact we try to create the development agency about to the technological parks in Tallinn, Tartu, and I like that what you did that before. So what we lack is we lack sexy ideas for agency development, and I think with this concept it can be processed because the mayor is creative, like you just said about the movement, they are excited, but they don't have sexy ideas to sell it to themselves first of all, and then to sell it to the public.
I can just tell you that I am now here 1.5 years more, and I actually will stay most of summer here. So if I can come during the summer to your city, I give you mine as well. So I'm happy. The good thing is that nobody needs to pay for my services. It's for free. So we can always meet, talk, and I can help you as much as I can.
In fact, well, speaking about this free of charge service, thank you very much. But my opinion is that people can pay. That's what you explained.
Yes, Euro pays for me. Don't worry.
No, I mean,
Euro pays.
no, I mean, not only for you, but to develop this sort of businesses, because people just don't understand, for example, how to create a totally new city in Dnipro, not to come Detroit. developing mode. It's something, stupid and how to say outdated experience.
Absolutely.
They have this with 1 million, but how to free them to invest somewhere else where they can get money into
Sorry, I'll give you mine as well. So,
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
so thank you. You can finish now.